Yo, what is up all? How you doing tonight? It is me, JustRob Tech, back with our first intro to episode 1 of the JustRob Tech podcast. Welcome aboard. How you doing today, guys? As you can see, we've got one of the microphones that I'm going to be doing a review on in the next few weeks, the Fadus SL40X. I've had this for about a couple of years now. It was one of the microphones I was going to review originally all those years ago, but obviously life has many changes, and I've literally just re-got all of my previous microphones that I had in the works. So this is going to be one of the microphones that I do a review on in the next coming weeks. It's considerably cheaper than what I bought it for. I think when I bought it, it was about 50, 60, 70 pounds. I think you can get it now for about under 50. So it's a really good value. There's two versions of this. I've got the XLR version. There is a XLR/USB version, which I think is about, that's about 50, 60 pounds. But the XLR version is less than 50 pounds basically. So, what do you reckon? Do you reckon it sounds all right? Considerable savings against a lot of the microphones in today's market. You've got so much choice now, it's ridiculous. I think this is probably one of the first XLR/USB mics you can get back in the day. You had I think another Fi-Fi mic, which I've got. The AM8, which I never got a chance to review as well, so I'll be probably doing another one of them in the next coming weeks as well. The problem with that is this did come with a microphone stand as well as the cable, and I don't know where it is. So luckily I've got a boom arm, but I did want to originally do a full kit review. Obviously you had the microphone stand, and somewhere in this vicinity I have the I have the the Fi-Fine Ampligamer mixer. So look forward to testing that. I'll probably test that with the AM8, or I might even test this with the Fadus SL40X. The reason I wanted to get this is what I want to do soon is a microphone shootout. I'm going to do various microphone shootouts. I want to do one which is almost like an under 70 pound mark between 3 or 4 microphones. I've got some of the various choices in store. I want to do a shootout in the microphones that are around £100. And I also want to eventually do a shootout where you've got some of the more premium above £100 microphone shootouts. But that's going to be coming in the next few weeks. I wanted to get some more tests and reviews done in some of the microphones that I've had in storage for a long time. So some of the ones that didn't get to make the channel before I kind of went on a hiatus, as you call it. But so far, we're starting to get back into it. Obviously, I've tested out the K688, which review is coming this Friday. And I've also tested out my other daily driver, the Dynacaster DM8, which is... I love this microphone. I absolutely love it. But we're starting to get back into making content again. I've also been streaming. So I've been streaming back on Twitch, which I'm really enjoying. I've been playing a lot of No Man's Sky, and I am obsessed with that game. I think about it non-stop. It's like the only game I play at the moment. Very, very good game. It's it's one of those games where I don't think you can ever complete it. Basically, there's just so much to do, and every update they bring out, there's more to do. So I want to be very thankful to a lot of the people that have been helping me with the game since I've become playing it. So I returned to Twitch about a month or so ago now, and since then I have absolutely been enjoying the ride. I've got a lot of people that have been coming around, giving me help and advice. I've got another another person who keeps coming in, giving me loads of like valuable stuff for my game. So I'm enjoying that. But I've obviously also missed YouTube. So I've decided to get back into making content for JustRob Tech. I've also got the JustRob Gaming channel, which I want to do more of. I want to do eventually some videos on No Man's Sky. Because obviously I really enjoy making content, so I've been enjoying getting back into it all. There's a few reviews coming in the next few weeks. Obviously the K688 from Fine is coming this Friday. I've just finished recording a video on this bad guy, the Sub-Zero MB1, which is a mic activator similar to a cloud lifter, a Fathead, but obviously it's more sort of similar to the cloud lifter. I've tested this out with one of my most gain hungry mics, which is the Sub-Zero DB30. This one requires about 56 decibels of gain, so a lot of audio interfaces are basically not going to cut it. More modern ones I think will be fine, because a lot of the modern audio interfaces can supply about 70 dB of gain, like my PreSonus Studio 26C, but a lot of the older ones, like the first few generations of the Focus Scarlett, the Behringer C22, the UM2, I think the Behringer 202 HD might be fine, but a lot of those had like a input gain maximum of like 50 odd dB. So but more modern interfaces should be fine, but I'll say a lot of the older ones, I'll say that even with my PreSonus, the DB30 does require a lot of gain, so it's been quite impressive to use the MB1. £35 I think I paid for it, so considerable cheaper than buying a cloud lifter. I think they're about 150 quid. And so I kind of been experimenting more with microphones. Obviously the last time I was using YouTube, microphones was kind of my thing, so I've been going through my locker to finish off a lot of the reviews I didn't get to do before I had took a break from it all. And obviously the Fidus SL40X was one of the casualties that's just become in a box for ages, so I never actually got a chance to do a review on this guy. So I thought I'd pick that back up. I'll say this, very, very good microphone from what I can hear in my ears. I'll say you'll have to let me know what it sounds like if you ever watch this. When I picked this up, it was about 60, 70 pounds. I think now you can get it for like 40 odd. I think 40 pounds is the cheapest I've seen it. And yeah, it sounds good. Obviously you can pick this up with a lot of affordable interfaces. I've got this running about 3 o'clock on the gain dial on my audio interface, but I should imagine it probably worked really well on the Fi-Fi mixer. And the reason I wanted to pick up the Fi-Fi mixer was to get some practice in with it, because my plan is eventually to retire the PreSonus 26C and actually purchase a dedicated podcast mixer. Now I got 4 contenders that I'm all looking at, all in the sort of £400 market. I can think you could probably imagine which ones I'm looking at, but I've got some decisions to make. I know what I want, what features I want at least. I don't want to lose any gain going from the PreSonus, because it does supply 70 dB of gain. So one of them's potentially ruled out already, and the other 3, it's a toss-up. I think it'll eventually come down to what's the best bang for buck, what deal I can get, what bundle I could potentially get, especially as we go into like Black Friday, Christmas, post-Christmas. I don't think I'll be getting it this side of Christmas, because I think that would be taking the piss. So So I think these are going to be sort of decisions I'll make after Christmas because, it's probably not a good idea to do it now. So what my plan is, there's 4 models in mind, all kind of in that sub £400 pricing. One of them I found a few deals and bundles on, so that might be a road to go down, unless I zoom to a different decision. And obviously on those names you can quite imagine my predicament. The only thing that lets me down with, obviously one of the ones I'm talking about is the Zoom. I think it's the Pro, is it? Zoom. Is it the P8? Zoom P8? I think it's one of those. Zoom P8 podcast mixer. And that's been out for a few years. They've only just recently upgraded their 4-channel podcast mixer. The P4 Next is now out, which does support 48-bit processing, which the original P8 didn't. I think that goes up to 44.1. So I'm hoping maybe like in the next new year or so they release a new version of the P8. So, but I found a lot of good deals on the P8. So do I just take the hit on not having the feature that I want? And then there's 2 other versions, there's 2 other choices. There's obviously the Rode Procaster Duo, which is got everything I need. And there's the Mackie, I think it's the Mackie Creator, like the small version. That's kind of like around the same price. So I've got a few different choices, really. So I've found the Zoom P8 in a bundle for comes some various bits of equipment for about $360, and obviously the Rode Procaster, Rodecaster Duo, I think that's about £400 on its own, and obviously the Mackie is similar as well. The Mackie screen does look really good. It looks absolutely fantastic. So I'm tying to that as well, because all 3 of these options they can all supply 70 dB of gain. I was looking at the Tascam Mixcast 4, but I think that can only supply about 40. I think that can only supply like 50 or 60 decibels of gain. So I think that one's kind of ruled out. Plus, that one's like £399, and there aren't many places that seem to sell it over here, so that might be ruled out. So that's kind of what I've got planned with going forward, because I want to test out more microphones. I want to do head-to-heads, especially when I'm reviewing them. So I think I need a new, up-to-date, more dedicated audio interface or mixer. What I would like to do is get to the point where I don't need to use filters on OBS. I want to have it all handled by the hardware. So that's going forward. Obviously, going forward with the channel, currently I'm using a really cheap, affordable webcam that I picked off Amazon. I think this is like £50. It's a 4K 30 FPS or 1080p 60 FPS webcam. It was like £50 when I bought it. So it's done the job, but I am constantly tinkering around with exposure, brightness, sharpness. So I think eventually I want to look into getting a dedicated capture card with a proper camera so that the video at least looks all right. But to be fair, it's handled the job really well. But I don't know. I'm always messing around with it. So that's going to be the next plan going forward, is to work out on getting the mixer, work out on getting a proper sort of camera, whether that's like a dedicated DSLR. I think it's a lot of money to go down, but there's also, I could always get a better webcam. I mean, I've got like those. I've got one of those like no-name branded cameras that I got off Amazon. So this would work with USB, or I could literally just get a micro HDMI and plug it into a capture card. That might be a good route to go, because I think that should be a better camera choice than the webcam I'm using. But obviously it's no name, so it's probably not the best, but you know, that's always an option. So we got some plans going forward with the channel. And obviously I need to get some proper like lighting, because at the moment I'm just using my dedicated, obviously, Windows. And with it getting to that time of year where like the weather is rubbish, then I have to constantly like mess around in like post, especially like the video editing, where I'm just like literally trying to make sure that all the frames are the same, and obviously some parts of the video are like brighter than others, just because like the clouds decide to go over the house at the same time. So yeah, it is all going well. So yeah, I tell you what, for £40 odd, this does sound really good. I'm really impressed with this microphone. I say this is it sounds good and works really well with the filters that I use. Obviously when I hear myself in my headphones, it sounds really, really clear. Is there any drawbacks to it that I've noticed so far? See, also the windsock does stay on pretty well. I have noticed with the arm that the microphone, even though I've got it as tight as it can go, that it sort of moves a bit, but that might just be because when it's been in storage for the last like year or so. That's probably a reason why it's probably not so. But at the moment, it's holding its ground. As far as microphones go, I think I've started to tinker around with the settings that I like. I see going forward, the plan is to get like a dedicated mixer that handles all that, because I just find that if I'm using my filters for OBS, I've kind of got like filters that I'm using kind of work for like one particular microphone, and then when I do a test with another one, that I've got to then mess around with that. So I'm kind of hoping that a mixer can kind of sort that problem out. The Mackie and the Rode both kind of have like processing profiles that I'm quite interested in, whereas the Zoom kind of just has like some basic processing going on. The Zoom PodTrack 8, that's what it was called. So the Zoom P8, the Zoom PodTrack 8. So that's the one I'm looking at as well. That's the cheapest out of all of them, and you can always find that in some sort of deal and bundle. So that's a very possibility. Whereas the Mackie and the Rode Procaster Duo are both more modern, and they've been out in the last year or so. So they're more like the higher end of my budget, whereas the Zoom seems to be like more affordable. And I say whether the last thing I want to do is buy the Zoom, and then next year like the Zoom PodTrack 8 next comes out, which has more modern features. That would be disastrous. Whereas if I went with the Mackie or the Rode, I think I'd be good to go for the next few years, really, without worrying about the next version of them coming out. So and like obviously Rode have bought Mackie, so there's a good chance that the Mackie mixer won't come out again, because obviously Rode won't want it competing with their the Procaster range, or the Rodecaster range, so to say. So yeah, so I've got some plans for the channel. The reason for the such a long time between making content and now is where I was back when I was living back home at my family's was we live in the rural part of the Midlands, and had really bad internet, like line broadband, so it wasn't the best. Like, streaming was really hard to do, uploading YouTube was really hard to do. Like, it was an absolute nightmare. So obviously where I am now, I've got the benefit of having fiber optic, so can stream without any issues, can upload internet without upload to YouTube without issues. So it's been really good to use. It's crazy, really, because one of the hardest things that I've had to do since making content again is literally get used to making content again. Like, I forgot all, like, when I first was making it a year or so ago, I knew how to video edit. I knew how to, like, make, obviously, changes to OBS. I knew how to, obviously, use the Studio, was it the PreSonus Studio One Artist software? I knew how to do that, so I started tinkering around with that to make some of my videos. And, like, making it again, it's just been really hard. It's like starting afresh, like, oh, like, I have no idea to do so much. It's been so hard to do. I've had to start going back and watching, like, tutorial videos on everything. It's, like, amazing how, like, something you got really, really comfortable doing, like streaming, was hard to do again. Whereas when I used to do streaming, I kind of was used to it. I was used to, like, chatting while playing games, and that's been, like, a really hard thing to get used to again. It's like you concentrate on a game, like, and then you realise, oh yeah, hey. So it's been really hard to do. It's kind of like a lot of, like, the stuff that you, like, were doing, like, repeatedly. Like, I used to, like, I've got, like, hard drives full of just, like, videos that I've made where, like, they're never going to see the light of day, but it's literally just, like, videos where I'm like, testing 1 2 1 2, this is the blah 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 blah, whatever microphone there, and it's just like, just never delete them. I've got like a 4 terabyte like external SSD, and it's just full of, like, shitey little videos where it's just like, and here we're doing a microphone test. This is the, and then it's just, they're never there. Like, I'll never get rid of them. So it's like, there's so many, like, ridiculous bits of footage in them, and the amount of mistakes I make these days, like, that's another thing as well. I used to be, like, get into a position where I could, like, make a video and wouldn't really make too many mistakes, whereas now it's like, I don't know whether it's just because it's age or just not being out of the game for so long. It's like, even the Zoom PodTrack 8, I've been looking at that model for, like, months now. And as soon as I go to make, like, this video about, like, what my plans are for the channel, I'm like, oh, I can't remember the name. It's hilarious. And it's like the Mackie. Like, I've been watching loads of videos and reviews and spec sheets on that, and I'm like, the Mackie creator small or something. I think it's like an age thing, because I'll say I'm 41, so it's a good excuse, really, I reckon. But no. But yeah, it's just been getting into it again, and, like, making content. And I think it's one of those where, like, I don't want to get to the point where, like, I'm just constantly having, like, a break from making content or streaming. I want to get into a more consistent sort of schedule. But I think with anything, with YouTube especially, is, you know, I've been making content on YouTube for, like, years now, and I still don't really know how to tackle the algorithm. Like, there's videos that I'll make that, and I think they're, like, terrible videos, and they'll get, like, a lot of views, and then I'll make, like, one that's, like, really good and it gets none. It's like, is it like I try to make the thumbnails, I try to, like, the description, the tags, I never know how to do it. Like, there's just, and then you kind of watch, like, people's videos on how to grow on YouTube, and it's all the same sort of stuff. It's like, if you want to grow your channel, then it's like, all right. But, like, And it's the same with like Twitch as well. But like what I've noticed since streaming No Man's Sky is I'm growing. Like that's like consistently growing. It might just be like a few regular viewers, but that's like a brilliant start. Whereas like the last time I sort of streamed on Twitch, where I think I was doing it through COVID, I didn't really get anything. And like then Twitch is another thing as well, where like even in 2025 there's still like limits on bitrate, limits on like, you know, if you set it to 1080p it's not going to be consistent, it's going to be playing up for the people watching, it's going to be playing up for you. Like I was watching some of my VODs recently, so like taking some clips from it, and it's like some parts of it, like even though my like bit rate is consistent and it never drops below, like it never loses frames because my internet's really good, it still goes blurry. So like, and then I don't really want to be like dropping down to 720 bloody p in this day and age. Whereas, and then streaming on YouTube is like non-existent. I stream on YouTube and you get nothing. Whereas you stream on Twitch and there's an audience. So it's really, really annoying that the Twitch has still got like the whole limits with bitrate and stuff like that. And, you know, if you're a partner, you get to use like the full, I think it's like 10,000 bitrate. But if you're an affiliate, you're basically still limited to like 6,000 bitrate. And it's like, it's 2025. Sort your encoders out. Sort your bloody bandwidth out. Like, there's so much. And like, whereas YouTube is like, they've got no limit. But yet there's obviously certain games just don't perform well on their live streaming wise. So I think it's just been kind of like getting used to it all again. As far as like taking it seriously, I'd like to, but I think for now it's just going to kind of be like a hobby, and if people do watch it, then thank you very much, brilliant. But as far as like pushing myself like I used to, where like I was like, oh, how can I grow this channel? Like I'm not ready. Like today was funny because I got a comment on one of my videos that I made like two and a half years ago, and I think it was like just like a video I made about like upgrading from a Ryzen 5800X, which then eventually I upgraded to the Ryzen 7900X, which I'm still using now, and going from a Radeon 6800 to a 7900 XT, which I'm still using now. I said I've not changed anything about the system since I had it, and I've got no reason to. It still plays everything that I want at like a real decent frameage, because I use ultra wide 3040 by 1440, and it still plays literally most games at over 100 frames per second. So for the time being, I've got no need to upgrade. So that was like, I got a reply today, and I'm like, hey, that was 2 years ago. It was sort of like, and then the comment was like, I came for an answer, not for a 30-minute video. And I'm like, well, what was the answer you're looking for? So I just replied to him when I was like having my breakfast, and I'm like, oh, well, cheers anyway, thanks for your feedback. Video was 2 years old, like, but I make my videos how I make them, but thanks for the feedback. And then like he replied like later on this afternoon, so it was something like what was it he said? Well, in 2 years you've only had like 100 odd reviews, so take that as it is. I'm like, it's a 2-year-old video, mate. I made it 2 years ago. I didn't really put any effort into it. It was just a video idea I had. It's like, yeah, cheers, mate. But obviously in the series now, I don't mind critical feedback. I really don't mind it at all. I'm a big enough person to accept all comments. I'll say you're never really going to offend me in any way, really, so don't worry about it. But, you know, But it's nice to get like feedback. I mean, I still get surprised now when like I'll get a notification on YouTube where like a video I made like 3 years ago or something. It's like, oh, someone commented it like last week, and I'm like, cheers. But yeah. All feedback is welcome, negative or positive, I always say. So yeah, so that's something that happened today. And obviously, whereas Twitch, so I'm constantly getting good feedback from my streams. I try and put a lot of energy into it. I'm quite a jovial idiot, as I'd say, but I've got a lot of good feedback from being on Twitch, so I'm hoping that grows as I get more into it. I've kind of become like a No Man's Sky streamer, which I'm happy with, because from one of the feedbacks I did get on it recently was I was one of the only English players, so I got a lot of feedback from that. So there's a lot of good that's coming from the streaming side of things, and obviously I don't want to forget the tech channel. Obviously my gaming channel on YouTube, I don't know what to do about that. It's like no matter what I do, I can't seem to tackle the algorithm, but I'm hoping it'll just seem to crisscross into each other, especially as I'm making No Man's Sky content. I'm kind of hoping that I get people from that, but not really too worried or focused on that side of things. The main sort of YouTube, my tech channel, obviously that I would like to get to the point where I can break 1,000 subscribers and get monetized, but obviously, you know, what will be. I'm not going to give up on the channel, so and I'm kind of hoping that once I've got everything in place and I get some more of a consistent schedule, that we can grow it, really. I said I'd like to do a podcast, whether it be just like focusing on tech or just chatting with people. That would be really good, whether that's in like a live format or just a recording like this is going to be. But I think with going forward, I think it's kind of just going to be like trying to get back what I've lost, as in like skills with using content creation. Like the last time I was doing it, I was really good with like DaVinci Resolve. I was really good with OBS. I was really good with using DARs, but that's all gone. I think the last time I was using this sort of stuff was I started to get really good with like photo editing, and that's completely gone. Like, it's been so long since I properly used my computer that God, it's even got to the point where like I'm really terrible at typing now. So a lot of it is just going to be consistently getting back into it. Obviously, with using more hardware like the Fiduce, you know, it's really kind of showing what you can get these days. Whereas like the one I've got now is just the XLR version, but there is a version where it's like an extra, I think it's £10, and you get a USB input as well as a mic monitoring port for your headphones, which I think is where the market's going now, where I don't think eventually I could really see most microphones that are released in the next several years are going to be USB/XLR. Obviously the professional grade microphones are always going to be probably more dedicated to XLR. You know, your studio quality and stuff that the studio level vocalists are going to be using, like, you know, your professional artists, they're still going to be using like probably like microphones that are like £1,000, and they're literally like in like a studio quality isolation booth. Like, they're never going to be replacing by microphones that are 50-50, like you know, they're always going to be like, you know, your XLR going into like a $5,000 mixer. It's just like there's never gonna be a day where like the Produce SL40X goes into like, you know, powers the next flipping Coldplay album or something. But you know, but I think this sounds really good. Like, I'm really impressed with it. I like the look of it. Like, so you can see that it's very much like a looks wise. It's obviously taken inspiration from the SM7B. I mean, as far as that microphone goes, I'm always kind of like a lot of people. I'm always looking at it. I just can't seem to justify it. I think the only way I justify buying one is I found it on eBay for like, you know, under £200 second hand. I think that's the only way I'd buy one, because I always think for like the price of the SM7B, and I gotta say, listening to it on people, it just sounds really muddy. Whereas something like the Electro Voice RE20 just sounds amazing. That would be the microphone that I would probably skip the SM7B and go straight to that. But I think if I did find an SM7B for like less than £200 second hand, I'd probably buy one, just so I'd had it, just so I can go on the mic locker and just. But I don't know, just I find like most microphones as well, like, are always trying to look like it as well. Like this obviously, I'd say this more looks like the Shure MV7. I think the MV7 is probably what I'll probably pick up in the next post-Christmas side of things. Probably not the USB version, probably just the XLR version, because it's what, £160, whereas the MV7 with USB and XLR is like under £300, whereas you could just get the XLR version, plug it into your audio interface, and away you go. So I'll probably look for getting one of those. Eventually I want to get a pod mic, you know, probably I want to get the white one because that's a newer one. I think that looks really nice, and I am really impressed with the WS20 pop filter for the pod mic. This does fit on the DB30, and it also fits on the Procaster microphone. And to be fair, it looks good and does the job. But if I found a pod mic for, you can get them on Amazon now for like £77 for the original. I think it's like an extra £20-30 for the white version, and that's just XLR. Whereas obviously the USB/XLR version is about £120-130. So I don't see the point in paying that much for one of these combi mics. Whereas obviously this is like £40 currently just for the XLR version. I think it's extra tenner for the USB combi XLR version. And as you can hear, it sounds really good. Like, I'm very impressed with this microphone. Like, if I was going to be starting a podcast or live streaming these days and I didn't have much money, I'd probably go for this over. I'll say the Firefine K688 on eBay that I found for like £35, unbeatable. You know, that's a very good microphone. Whereas comparing this to, say, the Firefine AM8, I'd probably still pick this up. This competes very heavily with that sort of under £60 price. And then obviously you could probably pick this up with a boom arm and an audio interface and a decent pair of budget headphones for the price of the Rode PodMic XLR USB. That's just like incredible savings. And then, you know, cheap webcam like I've got, and away you go. You know, it's only like audio nuts like me that, like, you know, like having a microphone locker. A lot of people are just wanting to like get a microphone and away you go, whereas I'm like, I love just testing them out. Like, I love listening to them. I love tinkering around with them, trying to get the best settings for them. Like the Dynacaster is one of the only microphones I've got that I've plugged into my audio interface, turned off all the settings, and just loved listening to. And I kind of haven't had that since. There's only 3 microphones really that have ever given me that sort of sense of, wow, this sounds incredible. And that is obviously the SE Dynacaster, the Rode Procaster, and the PreSonus PD70. Like, those 3 microphones are probably my top 3 as far as like dynamic microphones. And as much as I love testing out dynamic microphones, and I use a dynamic microphone, I actually really like a condenser microphone. The only problem with a condenser microphone is you have to like noise isolation that thing to heck. But as far as like out of the box sounding really good, a condenser microphone I think beats a lot of dynamics. And I think people put too much stock into the sort of radio level sound when it comes to dynamic microphones. Like, I don't know why, I've just never liked the sound of the SM7B. Every time I listen to people talking into it, it never sounds like, it sounds way too dark, and I'm not sure it would complement my voice. Maybe if I got one, tested it out, used it, I'd be like, oh, I really like this. But I don't know, I kind of like think whether that's just like my personality as well. Like, I always liken it to, you know, years ago when everybody wanted the Xbox 360 and I was the only one who went, yeah, I'm getting PS3. And then when the phone world, like, everybody wanted an iPhone, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get an Android. So I wonder if it's like stuff like that, whereas like nowadays it's like everybody wants Nvidia, yeah, I'll get AMD. Maybe I'll just go against the grain too much, but I'll say I think everybody uses the SM7B, and I'm convinced that a lot of it is like, oh, I have an SM7B, so I've made it. Whereas I can imagine a lot of people probably bought it and then plugged it into their second gen Focusrite Scarlett, and then been like, what's going on here? this doesn't sound like Joe Rogan. And then, you know, they've gone out, spent like £400 on the microphone itself. They've got themselves the Rode, the boom arm, which is like £100. They've gone out and got themselves a £150 Focusrite Scarlett, and they've gone out and got themselves a £150 cloud lifter, and then they've spent like, what, £1,000? Is it something like that? And then they don't like the way the microphone sounds. To be fair, that's happened to me. Like, I remember when I bought, I think it was like so I started off with, I think it was like a toner Amazon kit when I first started making content. And I think it was when like it was £30. You got a really cheap boom arm, you got a really cheap shock mount, you got an XLR to USB cables, I think it was XLR to USB cable, and plugged it into your PC that way. So I was using that for a considerable amount of time, and then I got myself a Behringer UMC22 audio interface, and I bought myself, I think I got it for Christmas, was a Audio Technica 80-2020, because that was like the mic to go for when you want to start getting a bit serious. And I had it, unboxed it, set it all up, and then I spent most of the time going, oh my god, I can hear everything. I can hear the computer, I can hear like the I can hear everything, I can hear the radiators. And obviously I had no idea. Like, I remember like having to like watch videos on how to set up a microphone with OBS. Like, it was absolutely like ridiculous. Like, and then that was kind of like the microphone that I used for a bit, and then you actually start doing research, and I think the next one I got, my first dynamic microphone might have been the, I think it was the Behringer XM8500. And I think I watched that on Podcastage. It was like, it sounded so good. And it was like under £20. And I was using that for a bit as well. And that was before I even like got into like microphone reviews. Like I never even thought I would do like microphone reviews really. But the more I tinkered around with them, I'm like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. But here we are today. I still have the XM8500. I still have the XM500. I'm not sure I have the UMC22 anymore. I think I might have got rid of that because I think it's packed up. But that's the PreSonus I've had for many years now, and I think it's a very good kit. I think the only thing is, it's like an audio interface can only do so much, and you're still having to use like filters on OBS. Whereas I would like to get to the point where like the hardware handles all that, and the OBS is just left to just do its thing. I just set audio inputs and then away you go. The processing is all done through the mixer. But yeah, so that's kind of where I've been like the last few years as far as like, you know, where my channel's got. It was kind of like, originally it was just kind of a gaming channel, and then over the years it kind of became a tech channel, and that most of the tech was kind of like reviewing microphones, because I kind of think that's like the easiest thing to do as far as like reviewing tech. I'd like to get to the point where I can like maybe set up in the dining room like a little second camera so I can do like a proper unboxing, because there's only so much I can do here as far as space. But who knows, you know, the future's bright and all that sort of stuff. And I'm really impressed with this microphone. Like, it's so good. Speaking of other like affordable microphones, there's a microphone that I'm hoping to buy in the next week or so that I know for a fact that no one has done a review on it. So I'm looking to do the first ever review. There isn't even a review. It's like not even just YouTube. There's no review anywhere. So I'm not sure if I need to get one before. No, I don't know if they'll be discontinued. But I'm going to be hoping to pick one up in the next week or so and do the first ever review. Like, I only realised the other day that my review of the Sub-Zero DB30 is also the first ever review for that microphone. So I couldn't help myself. I went back into my my studio on YouTube and renamed it to like World Exclusive Review. So I'm probably going to do the same thing for this one, because I know for a fact no one's reviewed it. There's no review anywhere of this microphone. So I'm just keeping that to my chest, because there's only so many times you can do like a world exclusive review. So I'm looking forward to this massively. So I'm just hoping like I buy it and no one gets it. Hey, what is up all? I'm back a couple of days later from the last time you saw me, which was using the webcam. I'm currently actually using the camcorder as my webcam. I've got it running on USB, and even though this is over USB, it's 1080p, 30 FPS. But obviously you can see that I've got a much more wider viewing angle. I am going to be ordering a dedicated capture card and HDMI cable to test out fully, because I'm hoping the capture card should be capable of 4K 60 FPS. But we're going to find out in the next few days. But even so, the USB mode, pretty good. Really happy with it. So I paid £155 for this. It was one of these cameras you see on YouTube. It goes by multiple different names for multiple different markets. It's all obviously comes from China. Dell Modes is what's brand I saw it advertised on Amazon with. So it's a Dell Modes 4K, well 8K video camcorder, but it goes by different multiple names around depending on where you buy it from basically. But I think it's like a generic brand that obviously comes manufactured from China. And yeah, to be fair, for the price I paid compared to a lot of the main branded camcorders, which there aren't really many these days, it's definitely like a dying breed, these sort of styled camcorders. I think everybody's going mirrorless, which I'd like to do, but they're still quite expensive, really, aren't they? And you need to invest in a dummy battery. You still need to get yourself a capture card. Whereas something like this, it runs on USB for power and gets the job done, basically. Obviously, you can still use a capture card and a HDMI cable with it. But, yeah, £155, which, from what I got, compared to the £50 webcam I was using, it's a lot better. And I don't think it's available on Amazon. Well, I think it is, but it's just listed under a different listing, but it's still made by Dell Modes, and from what I've seen, it's like exactly the same camera that I got. It's just, by the looks of it, a different branded SD card, so who knows, but not too bad. I'm actually really impressed with it. I thought when I bought it, and I thought, it's going to be shocking, but from what the testing I've done downstairs, just walking around the house and outside in the garden with it, I'd say the video went too bad. Pretty good, really. So it's touchscreen and pretty good modern features. So you get 2 batteries with it, but it should give you more, obviously, room and camera view, so I can actually do proper unboxings with it now, which I'm quite happy to do, because before the webcam I had to like contrast to sort of get it to look good, and even then it was like really squished, whereas this has got like a much more wider lens, and I've got like a little cheap lens hood on it, which I think for like there was a different version, but it was listed as only being a maximum of like 6K, and that come with like a really nice looking lens hood, whereas this didn't, so I've just bought a really cheap one basically. But what do you reckon? Jack's right, doesn't it? I'd like to get a more featurist main brand camcorder, but they're a dying breed. I think eventually they'll just Sony, Panasonic and Canon will just stop making them. So that's why you got the good old no-names brands from China to thank for still keeping the camcorder name going. Right, so rabble on over. This has been the JustRob Tech podcast episode 1. Going forward, we're going to be doing more of these, so I want to get it all filmed and edited in a more structured way. I'm probably going to release them on Friday, so obviously if you see this, happy Halloween. Hope you're having a great day. We're going to be doing a bit more structured routine of this. I want to do it weekly, so like a weekly podcast, just basically whether it's updating what's coming to the channel, updates what's going on with me. Probably do a different microphone each episode, just to sort of show you what's coming. And yeah, so this has been the JustRob Tech podcast episode 1, and I hope to see you again.